Breakers. Often I'm asked about my favorite EXs and options. I've shown you some of the range I enjoy. I also have a few tools on the melee side I really like. Now, you know me, I'm a mechanics whore. I value utility over Ungus Bungus, and thus some of my picks are going to be more utility based. So, a thing melee does really well with is stun effects. You know this. I've already talked about GN Fangs in a previous video. The fact that on hit they lock someone down makes them very useful for disruption. That stun is also super nice because while someone is stunned, they don't get knocked around by you, but only in that stun state. So it can really improve the DPS of melee attacks by just whacking the crap out of them when they are helpless. To that end, one of the first things I like using would be Adzam Leader. This is a builder's part. It's not existing on any other actual part. It's always been a builder's part as far as I know. You actually see it in Re-Rise Episode 1, some fun little thing that Hiroto uses based on the Adzam mobile armor from Zeon's Secret Mine in 0079. It is that little disky that you see on my shoulder there. It is in fact a little flying leader fella that sets out an electro cage that stuns people over a period of time. In this case, it's a good long time. We're talking multiple seconds at a time. Now, there's no tracking on it when you throw it out. So if they're moving, you're not really going to connect unless you're at real close range. But when it does, it puts them in the stun state. That means you can just wail on them without any kind of issues. They don't get knocked away anymore. And you can throw it in during those close range attacks. Now, something that will physically displace the guy's model, for example, the pile driver, shuts off that movement immunity. You'll then knock them around again. But for everything else, yeah, free range just beat the crap out of them. It also does a decent amount of damage and can be boosted by throw option passives. Next thing I like to use in my repertoire would be the barrier skills. I talked about C funnels in a previous video as well, the funnel one specifically, and how with a toggle you can turn them into a barrier. It does contact damage, good way to supplement your melee as you're whacking a guy, especially if they're stunned and can't go anywhere. As a complement to C funnels, or as an alternative, I would actually consider using Ambika off of the Darabald arms. This fella does not have the option to turn to a full-on funnel, but it does about 4 times as much damage as the C funnel's melee mode does. Now, it's not classified as a funnel, so it does not get funnel skill boosts, but you'd have to stock a whole lot of that to really reach that level anyway. It has the same 30-second duration as a funnel skill, and I think it's just a more solid option if you're not willing to super invest in that kind of gameplay. One more fun thing I like using is Kamar's Arm Slash Disc. This is an ejection range attack. Seems pretty innocuous. You can hit it once for 1 disc. Hold it for 3 discs. Both arms, I believe, can be triggered separately, so you get 2 different cooldown options if you're using both arms together natively. And the neat thing is it comes with the effect to reduce the enemy's defense. So you see I'm doing 910 here. Hit him with a slash disc, and now I'm doing 1083. And that 1083 is going to last for a whole fat 9 seconds. And considering you can mix this into most attacks and combos, it's a nice way to improve your DPS, especially if they're stunned or locked down. Just wail right into them. And finally, something I like putting in my repertoire would be grabs. Grabs are special because they bypass guard entirely. If your enemy is blocking, a grab will get right by that, put them in the dirt. Now, Lightning Ball is one of my preferred ones. Sub-Knuckle on Astaroth's builder's part for the large manipulator is also kind of nice. But Electro Ball is preferred, or Lightning Ball rather, is preferred because it has a special property where it is actually doing bonus tick damage after application. Now, it's only 3 or 4 ticks, and it is going to be a percentage of the enemy's HP. So as you beat them down, it's going to be less and less damage over time, but nonetheless, still extra damage over time, which makes it a little bit better than most conventional grab and slam grabs. The range is pretty good on it, too. Now, I don't play melee very often, but I always try to use these tools with my melee setups, so I just eke a little bit extra utility out of them. Also, say hi to Beetle. I gave him a bigger butt.